Hi everyone. So let me just remind myself how I'm going to talk to you about this. First of all, I should say who I am. So I work at Friends of the Earth. I work currently on Nature, our Nature programme and the Bees campaign. But a couple of years prior to that, I've worked in the political and legal team as a campaign assistant. So I'm planning to tell you what this thing is, what our map maker is, why we made it, how it works, how we've used it, and a kind of where next, where to go with it next. So the adventures have been fabulous, if at times frustrating, but this is what it is. I mean, what it is a tool that allows you to layer up lots of different data sets and for users to be able to interact with those data sets. And so I'm not technically skilled, I can't code or anything, but the tool enables someone like me to grab some data sets in particular formats. So lots of the stuff on this map is in Google Fusion tables, which are a bit like spreadsheets. And then you can quickly kind of plug those in. You can see maybe on the left-hand side, you've got those kind of tick boxes for different things. So you've got things like renewable energy businesses. This was for our Clean British Energy campaign. And you can see in the middle slide there, you click on a constituency, it's going to tell you a little bit about who the MP in that constituency is and maybe something you might want to do in relation to that MP. And then you can generate what is a bit like a heat map, which is kind of telling the story of the campaign there. So that's a broad outline of what it is. The reason we made it was, to take a step back, our Clean British Energy campaign and our Bees campaign both had requirements for a sort of public-facing map to tell the stories of the campaign as a communication device, essentially. And I think both of them were kind of slightly working separately and kind of speaking to people about, can you do as a one-off map? And fortunately, I think our solutions guys sort of said, hang on a minute, why don't we just build something that can mean we can keep making maps whenever we need them, rather than just pay people for something that we maybe use once and then it just becomes useless to us. So that's why we ended up investing in building this map maker. I'm going to see if I can, this is just telling you the timelines. This is the Bees map, and you can see in some ways that's not that useful, other than for telling you that lots of people are doing lots of stuff. So that's one of the ways that we used it. And this is kind of telling you what those flowers mean, which is people requested seeds and planted them. So that's quite useful for being able to sort of show social proof. And what's just popped up at the bottom there is another feature that I failed to mention, which is user-generated content. So if you were to click that orange button right at the bottom of the menu, you can collapse that menu as well to get it out of the way. If you hit that button, you can upload your own photo of the bee-friendly flowers that have bloomed in your garden, or anything else that is likely to be moderated then. So that's the thing on the bottom. Right is us deciding whether or not that's appropriate and could go up on the map. Another use was a lot of flooding around this sort of time last year, and the tool's very good for sort of quickly just throwing some data together and seeing whether kind of patterns emerge out of that, and whether newsworthy stories come out of that data, which might otherwise be quite difficult to do. So this was my colleague Guy Shrubsole being very tenacious in terms of getting hold of some data on the number of homes that are at risk of flooding in every constituency. And I helped him a little bit with some of the data wrangling. And that pop-up box has your MP's Twitter handle in there, hyperlinked, and then you've got various other bits of information that, got historic flooding on there. This map now, if you do visit it on our website, has been updated quite substantially. So you've got things like power stations and substations that you can see, oh, well, maybe that's in a floodplain, or you can think of any number of sort of uses you might get out of it, ways that you might want to layer up and look at different stories. So this is kind of trying to take it to the extreme, maybe trying to break it as well. And you know, there's probably a limit on how many layers in practice you want on there. But at the same time, this was kind of the audience for this really is a sort of activist network, and you can type in your postcode, and it's sort of, they might want to explore what's going on in their area, what are the issues that are prominent, and who might they be able to link with. So we've got a layer on there which is allies. So some of our NGO colleagues provided that data, and we can see whether if there isn't a Friends of the Earth group, maybe there's a Greenpeace group, people they can link up with and take action and organise with. Fracking Map on the bottom right, I'll just whiz through these. I think I've told you that it's someone like me can use it, so that probably means like someone like you can probably use it as well. I personally used it to a slightly different reason, which was to try and inform decision making internally about where we focus our fire. So that was when I was in the political team. I was quite interested in where issues overlap, and given that resources are scarce, the best way of deploying those resources. These are some quick lessons from it. The data's out there. Certainly, I'm working on nature at the moment, and there's a shed load of nature data out there that doesn't seem to be being utilised in a way that is likely to motivate people to act in defence of nature. Collaboration, I'll come on to this now. The tool's open source, but also there's a kind of question about duplication of effort within and across movements, and whether there's scope to take ownership of particular data sets. So for instance, you know, Friends of the Earth might say, well, we're running a bees campaign, so we're going to be keeping this data up to date anyway, but if you want to use bee data, come to us and we can guarantee that it's going to be okay. And you know, perhaps other NGOs willing to sort of stepping forward to say, well, we're doing this anyway, let's all share it. So that's the sort of distributed open access. And this is kind of bringing the story up to speed. So we got those kind of bites out of it, but there was a group of us internally who were very keen to get this tool open sourced, and we made the case. A colleague of mine who's actually moved on now is very sort of good at articulating the reasons for doing that, and I think there's often a tension, and you know, there's questions of kind of timing when we've obviously forked out to build the thing, but I felt awful that we were sitting on something that really should be being shared and taken advantage of. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the tool is open source. The community, we kind of started to build up, went a bit cold, and we're now re-engaging. We've got some, we're looking for people to come and use this. We'd love to be able to share this with people. And there's a meetup on the 29th of April at our offices. Come along to that, and I'm happy to do an open space tomorrow. I can demo it for you there.